The opioid epidemic has affected every community across Massachusetts, from the inner city to the suburbs. Substance abuse can destroy families and often leave parents feeling guilt and shame and confusion on how to help their child. The Parent Support Group of Western Mass is a peer support group run by two women who know all too well the heartache caused by substance abuse disorder. Carolee McGrath sat down with Barbara Gallo, who facilitates the group every Wednesday night at Providence Behavioral Health Hospital in Holyoke, to learn more.
So back in late 2004, we have 5 children. We raised 5 children in our house. So the youngest one was a junior in high school, and the next oldest was 19 months a senior, and she was in her first year of college. So she came home for the summer, and they had some common friends, as kids normally do, and this daughter came to me and said, you know, Mom, I'm hearing that Steve is doing an awful lot of cocaine. And I dismissed her. I told her to go on her way, to worry about what she needed to be responsible for, because this was our baby. And I didn't really relate to what she was telling me, and I certainly didn't want to. So I kind of sent her on her way, and when she came back for Thanksgiving break, you know, in the period between that summer and Thanksgiving break, she planted a seed that, you know, I couldn't just take away. And I started really watching things, watching my son's behavior and saying, you know, could this possibly have any validity to it? And I started to see some things that were very concerning to me. So when she came back home for Thanksgiving, because it's a slow process, and when she came back and said, Mom, I said, you know what, okay. So at that point, both of my daughters were home, and we tore apart his room. And I didn't find any drugs. And that's because, you know, today I know that if somebody has drugs, they use them. I don't normally have a cache unless they're dealing them. So, but I did find a whole lot of things that I wasn't comfortable with and that I couldn't explain. So I kind of wrapped it all up, and I took it. I called our pediatrician, and I said, you know, what do I do? And she said, bring him in for a drug test. So not wanting to alarm him and having it be a holiday, I had an appointment for Friday morning. So Wednesday afternoon when he got out of school, I just nonchalantly said, oh, by the way, you have a physical on Friday. So he didn't think too much of it, and off we went to the doctor's office, where, you know, certainly he was shocked and angry and very upset with me. But what came out of that meeting and many meetings to follow, you know, is really where our journey began, and, you know, where the realization came that my son had substance use disorder, and that I was going to have to do something to address it.
As a mother, obviously this is heartbreaking, and you're probably thinking, like, how could this happen? You know, you didn't want to believe your daughter initially. Who would? Are you kidding? This is not happening in my house on my watch. How did you deal with that, and has this group helped you deal with those feelings?
Oh, absolutely. And it would be a long time before I make it in the rooms tech group, because for a long time I thought it was something like many people do. A disease, it's not a disease, it's a behavior issue. And that wasn't something I wanted to talk about outside of my home. We wanted to just quietly address it and deal with it inside. And we tried to do that for a really long time. And part of it was successful. I mean, I did understand that even if it was a behavior issue, that there was some treatment. I wasn't wholly unfamiliar with the disease. I have members of my family. So I did, you know, the best I could with the information I had. And I did put him into treatment. I pulled him out of school. I sent him through a treatment program, and he came back home, and I sent him back to school. And I thought, whew, we caught that early. That'll be great. You know, we're on a good path here. But I didn't know anything. You know, this disease, unlike any other, if someone in your family is diagnosed with a deadly disease, you know, for me, I used to try to learn everything I could about it. But I didn't really, even though I might say the disease of addiction, I didn't really think about it in terms of something I needed to learn about. And because of that, I didn't understand that there were things that my son needed to do to manage his disease. really for the rest of his life. I didn't understand that at that point. So, he was 18 years old. He figured, oh, I got this, we're all set. And it wouldn't take very long before he would relapse. And it was probably at that point, and I said, maybe this is a little bigger and maybe we need some additional help with it.
And so when you talk about him having to deal with this for the rest of his life, because people always say recovery is lifelong, you're going to deal with this for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And parents who are currently in this situation are going to deal with this for the rest of their lives. And your love, of course, is unconditional, and you want to take it away. But how do you encourage parents who are carrying this very, very heavy burden to seek help for themselves?
Yeah, and that's a great point, because when I went to that support group, I didn't go to seek help for myself. I went because I thought those people have the answer as to how to fix my son. That's the only reason I walked through the door. But what I discovered through that was, and it's pretty hard to say, I was part of the problem. I was part of the problem, and my behaviors created fertile ground for this disease to continue.
Explain that. Why were you part of the problem?
So I didn't cause it, but I also wasn't going to cure it. But every time I cushioned his consequences, every time I called in sick to work for him, every time I made an excuse at a family function as to why he wasn't there, every time I got him another job or paid a bill he didn't have the money to pay, or fixed a vehicle, or paid for his cell phone, I was part of the problem. And we often think that if our family members are struggling, that's what we do. We bond together and we help him. We help them. But helping him with a lot of the things, a lot of the, not causes of the disease, but the symptoms. Not having any money, not having any gas, having his cell phone turned off, losing his job, not being able to attend family functions. By taking away the pain that was associated in that, his disease was able to grow and progress.
So you need to let them fall hard, right in front of you, which, as a parent, you don't want to let them fall. Like, you're there to catch them, right?
Right. Well, I'm grateful to say that, back when I started this, there was a whole lot of